Hi friends, this is your Yoganandam biology lecturer. In this class, we are going to discuss one of the biology full syllabus test paper. Already we have discussed there are 9 papers with detailed solutions. In order is the 10th paper. Even from this paper, we are going to discuss totally there are 90 questions with detailed solutions. Let us discuss the question and answer one by one.
Question number 1. Which light is absorbed more by carotenoids? Pigments are substances having the ability to absorb light of different wavelengths. Chlorophyll A absorbs lights of visible spectrum having wavelength between 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer wavelength. Maximum absorption by chlorophyll A occurs in the blue and red regions, and it also shows a higher rate of photosynthesis. Carotenoids absorb light in the blue, green and violet region and reflect the longer yellow, red and orange wavelengths. So the answer for this question is option B, blue, green and violet region. Question number 2. Read the following statements carefully. Here there are 4 statements are given. From that, how many of the above statements are correct? Gap junctions facilitate the cells to communicate with each other by connecting the cytoplasm of adjoining cells for the rapid transfer of molecules and ions. Tight junctions help to stop substances from leaking across a tissue, whereas adhering junction perform cementing to keep neighboring cells together. Compound epithelium covers the dry surface of the skin as well as moist surface of the buccal cavity, pharynx and inner lining of ducts of glands. In vertebrates, most of the cartilages present in the embryonic stage are replaced by bones in adults. So the answer for this question is option D, 2. So from the given 4 statements, there are 2 statements are correct. So the answer for this question is option D. Question number 3. Where is the water splitting complex associated with PS2 situated? The splitting of water is associated within the photosystem 2 and takes place on the inner side of the membrane. The protons or hydrogen ions that are produced by the splitting of water accumulate within the lumen of the thylakoids. These also create oxygen, one of the net products of the photosynthesis. So the answer for this question is option B, inner side of the thylakoid membrane. Water splitting complex is associated with PS2 in inner side of the thylakoid membrane. So the answer for this question is option B. Question number 4. Which of the following structural order of the ganglions are correctly represented in cockroaches? Cockroaches' brain or the central nervous system consists of the supraesophageal or cerebral ganglia, subesophageal ganglia and circumesophageal connectives in the head and double ganglionated ventral nerve cord in the thorax and abdomen. The brain or supraesophageal ganglia are a pair of large closely opposed ganglia in the head. So the answer for this question is option D, supraesophageal ganglion, subesophageal, prothoracic ganglion, mesothoracic ganglion, metathoracic ganglion, 1 to 6 abdominal ganglion. So the correct option for this question is option D. Question number 5. At how many places in Krebs cycle FADH2 is formed? In Krebs cycle, dehydrogenation reaction occurs 4 times, among which there are 3 points in the cycle where NAD is reduced to NADH2 and 1 point where FAD is reduced to FADH2 when succinate is converted to fumarate. So the answer for this question is option A, 1. In one place, FADH2 is formed during Krebs cycle. So the correct option is A. Question number 6. Which of the following event occurs during the depolarization phase of an action potential in the neuronal membrane? During depolarization, the voltage gated Na plus channel opens due to the arrival of the signal or action potential. This leads to the rapid movement of Na plus ions from the outside extracellular fluid to inside exoplasm, as the concentration of Na plus ions is more on outside or extracellular fluid. This leads to the developing a net positive charge inside and a net positive charge outside the axonal membrane. So the answer for this question is option B. Na plus ions rapidly move inside the cell. Question number 7. Which of the following is correct sequence of glycolysis? In glycolysis, glucose and fructose are phosphorylated to form glucose 6-phosphate by the activity of enzyme hexokinase and then converted to fructose 1,6 biphosphate, which splits into 3-carbon compound phosphoglyceraldehyde and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. In subsequent steps, these products get oxidized to form PGA and then PEP, which are the end products pyruvic acid, the end product of glycolysis. So the answer for this question is option B. Glucose 6-phosphate is converted into 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde, 3-phosphoglyceric acid, phosphoenol pyruvic acid. So the correct option is B. Question number 8. Reflex actions are given by neuronal pathways called reflex arcs, which comprise different components. What should be the correct sequence of its components in withdrawal reflex after touching the hot things suddenly to withdraw the finger? Reflex arc comprises 5 components that are arranged in a sequence so that it receives sensory information such as extreme heat from sense organs to central nervous system and gives a motor command to muscles or glands, receptor to afferent neurons, from afferent neurons to receptors, receptor to afferent neurons, then interneurons, then afferent neurons, then finally it reaches effector. So the answer for this question is option D. The correct sequence is option D. Question number 9. The growth of the given system per unit time, which is expressed on a common basis or per unit initial parameter, is known as. Quantitative comparisons between the growth of living system can also be made in two ways. Measurement and the comparison of total growth per unit time is called the absolute growth rate, and the growth of the given system per unit time expressed on a common basis per unit initial parameter is called the relative growth rate. So the answer for this question is option B, relative growth rate. Question number 10. The process that removes apical dominance is. In most higher plants, the growing apical bud inhibits growth of the lateral buds. This phenomena is called as apical dominance. Removal of shoot tip is generally called as decapitation, usually results in the growth of lateral buds. It is widely applied in tea plantation and hedge making. So the answer for this question is option A, removal of shoot tips. Question number 11. Glycogen is a homopolymer made up of. Glycogen is a homopolymer made up of glucose. It is multi-branched polysaccharide in which glucose molecules are linked by alpha 1,4 glycosidic linkage and branches are linked by alpha 1,6 glycosidic linkage. So the answer for this question is option A. It is made, glycogen is made up of glucose units. Question number 12. Match the items in the column 1 with those in the column 2. Calcium is required by meristematic and differentiating tissues for cell wall formation as it is an important component of middle lamella as calcium pectate. It is also needed for the synthesis of mitotic spindle. Necrosis refers to the death of tissues resulting in the deficiency of elements like calcium, magnesium, copper, potassium. Delayed flowering result in the deficiency of elements like nitrogen, sulfur and molybdenum. Molybdenum is a component of various enzymes like nitrogenase and nitrate reductase, both involved in nitrogen metabolism. Third one is chlorine. It is absorbed along with Na plus and K plus. It also determines the solute concentration and the anion cation balance in cells. Mn, Cl and Ca are involving in the photolysis of water leading to oxygen evolution. Iron. It is an important constituent of ferredoxin and cytochromes, that is proteins involved in the transfer of electron. It is required in larger amount in comparison to the other micronutrients. Chlorosis is the loss of chlorophyll leading to yellowing of leaves. Deficiency of elements nitrogen, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, iron, manganese, zinc and molybdenum causes chlorosis. So the correct sequence is option A. Is A is pairing with third one, B is pairing with second one, C is pairing with first one, D is pairing with fourth one. Question number 13. Following features are associated with myosin. Myosin protein has two components, heavy meromycin and light meromycin. Heavy meromycin has high molecular weight and consists of globular myosin head and short arm together called as cross arm, which helps in the formation of cross bridges with actin protein after hydrolysis of ATP. So the answer for this question is option A, myosin binding site. Question number 14. The biological level of organization of living things arranged from the simplest to most complex are. The biological levels of organization of living things arranged from the simplest to most complex are organelle, cells, tissues, organ system, organisms, population, communities, ecosystem, and biosphere. So the answer for this question is option C. Question number 15. Match the following and mark correct option. Myasthenia gravis is a autoimmune disorder affecting neuromuscular junction, whereas muscular dystrophy is a progressive degeneration of skeletal muscles due to genetic disorder. The pivot joint is present between the atlas and axis. Cervical vertebrae are between radius and ulna of the forearm. Gliding joint is present between the carpals, whereas hinge joint is present in the knee. So the correct option is A. Myasthenia gravis is matching with fifth one, autoimmune disorder of muscle. Gliding joint is matching with fourth one, between the carpals. Muscular dystrophy is matching with second, genetic disorder of muscles. Hinge joint, it is matching with knee joint. Pivot joint, it is matching with radius and ulna. So the correct option is A. Question number 16. Minerals are absorbed by the roots from the soil in the form of. Plant roots absorb minerals from the soil solution. In the soil, the minerals are present in two forms, bound and solution form. Those minerals existing as positively charged ions are absorbed on clay particles. Because clay particles are negatively charged, ions are absorbed from the soil by both passive and active transport. Minerals are present in the soil as charged particles, nitrate, phosphate, and potassium ions that are cannot move across the cell membrane, and the concentration of minerals in the soil is usually lower than the concentration of minerals in the root. So the answer for this question is option C, ions. Question number 17. Beisering concluded that cause of tobacco mosaic disease was not a filtrate toxin because M.W. Beisering demonstrated that the extract of infected plants of tobacco could cause infection in healthy plants and called the fluid as contagium vivum fluidum. It is service called as infectious living fluid. The virus was found to be smaller than bacteria because they pass through bacterial proof filter. So the answer for this question is option D. The SAF was infectious even though it was filtered to remove bacteria. Question number 18. Which of the following hormone control 24-hour diurnal cycle or rhythmic activity of human body? The pineal gland, which is a small neuroendocrine structure of human forebrain, secretes melatonin hormones which can control our 24 hours biological rhythmic activities, that is day-night activities, diurnal cycle or sleep-wake cycle. The pineal gland is often called as biological clock of the human body. So the answer for this question is option C, melatonin. Number 19. Rust and smut disease of fungi are caused by fungi belonging to. Rust of wheat is caused by Puccinia and smut is caused by Ustilago. Both are basidiomyces fungi and they are parasites on living plant body. So the answer for this question is option C. Rust disease caused by Puccinia, smut disease caused by Ustilago, both belongs to basidiomyces. Question number 20. Consider the following match of hormones and select the incorrect one. Glucocorticoids, mainly cortisol hormone, produce anti-inflammatory reactions and suppress the immune response. They also stimulate RBC production. Adrenaline or epinephrine is secreted from the adrenal medulla in the response to stress or emergency or fight, flight and fright conditions. Thyroxine regulates Basal metabolic rate, maintains water electrolyte balance and supports RBC formation. Thyrocalcitonin is a long peptide hormone secreted by parafollicular cells of the thyroid gland. The service called as C cells. Its secretion is regulated by an increased plasma level of calcium by feedback mechanism. TCT lowers calcium level in blood to normal by increasing calcium deposition in the bones. So it checks osteoporosis and stimulates excretion of calcium in the urine. So the answer for this question is option D. Calcit decreases bone calcium level in human body. Question number 21. The main differences in gram positive and gram negative bacteria resides in there. Bacteria can be classified into two groups on the basis of the differences in the cell envelopes and the manner in which they respond to the staining procedure developed by Christian Gram. Gram staining is a differential staining method that separates bacteria into two categories based on the cell wall compositions. Those that take up gram stain are called gram positive, and the other, those do not take up gram stain, are called as gram negative bacteria. So the answer for this question is option A, differential staining of cell wall. Question number 22. The diagram given below is related to which of the following set of hormones? All lipid soluble hormones such as adrenocorticoids, steroidal and hypothyronines hormones can easily cross the target cell membrane and enters inside the target cell. These hormones bind to the specific intracellular receptor to form the hormone receptor complex, which ultimately binds to DNA and regulates gene expressions to give the physiological response. So the answer for this question is option C, corticoids, hypothyronines and steroids. Question number 23. Crypto games do not have. Pteridophytes are the first successful land plants that have vascular tissues. Xylem consists of tracheids only for the conduction and vessels are absent. Phloem consists of sieve cells only, sieve tubes and companion cells are absent. So the answer for this question is option C. Cryptogames do not have xylem vessels, sieve tubes and companion cells. Question number 24. Which of the following is the least and most abundant leukocytes in human body respectively? The correct ascending order of the different leukocytes of blood is basophils, eosinophils, monocytes, lymphocytes, neutrophils. Neutrophils are about 60% to 65% of the total WBC and are major phagocytic cells of the blood. So the answer for this question is option A, basophils, neutrophils. Question number 25. Juvenile state of moss is. The predominant stage of life cycle of moss is the gametophyte, which consists of two stages. The first stage is the protonemal stage, which develops directly from the spore. The second stage is the leafy stage, which develops from the protonema as the lateral bud. So the answer for this question is option A, protonema. Question number 26. All given factors promotes absorption of water by roots except. Water is absorbed along with mineral salt solutes by root hairs purely by diffusions. Thus, if soil solution is highly concentrated, the diffusion of water inside the root cells cannot occur. Highly concentrated soil solution inhibits the absorption of water from the soil solution. So the answer for this question is option B, highly concentrated soil solutions. Question number 26. A person has cardiac output 5600 ml per minute and stroke volume 70 ml. What would be the number of heartbeat in 2 minutes in this person? Cardiac output equal to stroke volume and heartbeats per minute. Heartbeats per minute is equal to cardiac outputs by stroke volume is equal to 5600 ml by 70 ml equal to 80. Therefore, the number of heartbeats of the person in 2 minutes is 80 into 2, it is 160. So the answer for this question is option D. In 2 minutes, 160 heartbeats takes place. Question number 28. The female gametophyte of typical dicot at the time of fertilization is. The embryo sac is female gametophyte in dicot. The most common type of dicot embryo consists of 7-celled and 8 nucleated structure. It consists of 1 egg cell, 2 synergids, 3 antipodals, and a large central cell with 2 polar nuclei. So the answer for this question is option B, 7-celled. Question number 29. Read the following statements 1 to 4. How many of the above statements are incorrect? Here there are 4 statements are given. The second heart sound dub is caused by the closure of aortic valve and pulmonary valve at the end of the ventricular systole or at the beginning of the ventricular diastole. At the beginning of the atrial systole, about 70% to 80% of ventricles are normally filled. Hence, during atrial contraction, it is service called as atrial kick. The remaining 20% to 30% gets filled. So the answer for this question is option C, 2. From the given 4 statements, only 2 statements are correct. Question number 30. Significance of double fertilization is. Double fertilization is a characteristics of angiosperm and it involves syngamy and triple fusion. The fusion of one male gamete with egg cell is called syngamy and it results in the formation of diploid zygote. The fusion of second male gamete with a secondary nucleus is called triple fusion and it results in the formation of triploid primary endosperm nucleus. Double fertilization is also increases the viability of seed and allows the utilization of both the male gametes produced by the pollen grains. So the answer for this question is option D. All of these are the significance of double fertilization. Question number 31. Which of the following ions are actively secreted in the filtrate by tubular cells of nephron during urine formation? Tubular secretion is one of the step of urine formation which mainly occurs by cells of proximal convoluted tubule and distal convoluted tubule of nephrons. The secretion of harmful and nitrogenous waste such as K+, H+, NH3, etc. from blood to filtrate takes place by tubular cells of nephron. So the answer for this question is option D, K+, NH3, and H+. Question number 32. Even in absence of pollinating agent, seed setting is assured in. Camelina has clistogamous flower and is invariably autogamous and hence assured seed setting occurs even in the absence of the pollinator. So the answer for this question is option D, Camelina. Question number 33. Crossing over occurs between dash chromatids of dash chromosome. Crossing over is the exchange of chromosomal segment between non-sister chromatids of homologous chromosomes. It occurs during pacting of prophase 1 of meiosis and it results in the recombination of genes producing genetic variation. It is carried out by enzyme recombinase. So the answer for this question is option B. Crossing over occurs between non-sister chromatids of homologous chromosomes. Question number 34. How many statements are not incorrect? Here there are 4 statements are given. Shivan produced the hypothesis that the bodies of animals and plants are composed of cells and cell products. Endoplasmic reticulum are extensive and continuous with the outer membrane of nucleus. Peroxisomes are not part of endomembrane system, thus they cannot coordinate with Golgi body. So the answer for this question is option B. From the given 4 statements, 1 are not incorrect. Question number 35. Which of the following statement is not true for chylomicrons? Due to the action of pancreatic lipase or stepsin and intestinal lipase, the emulsified fats are broken into fatty acids, glycerol and monoglycerides in lumen of small intestine. These compounds along with water and bile salts incorporate to form small vesicles called micelles in the lumen of small intestine. These micelles are released into intestinal epithelial cells where they again join to form small fat droplets or triglycerides covered by protein layer and called as chylomicrons. These are ultimately released from the epithelial cells to lacteals or lymphatic vessels. So the answer for this question is option A. Chylomicrons are formed inside the lumen of small intestine. 6. The biosynthetic phase of photosynthesis is the products of light reactions are ATP, NADPH and oxygen. Of these, oxygen diffuses out the chloroplast while ATP and NADPH2 are used to drive the process leading to the synthesis of food, more accurately sugars. This is the biosynthetic phase of the photosynthesis. This process does not directly dependent on the presence of the light but is dependent on the products of the light reaction ATP and NADPH besides carbon dioxide and water. You may wonder how this could be verified. It's simple. Immediately after light becomes unavailable, the biosynthetic process continues for some time and then stops. It then light is made available, the synthesis starts again. So the answer for this question is option B. The biosynthetic phase of photosynthesis directly depend on the products of the light reactions. Question number 37. How many of the following cell organelles are bound by single membrane? Here there are some cell organelles are given. Lysosome, peroxisome, Golgi body, endoplasmic reticulum and spirosomes are bound by single membrane. Mitochondria and nucleus are bounded by double membrane. So the answer for this question is option B. There are 5 organelles bounded by single membrane. Question number 38. Match the following respiratory volumes with their value and select the correct option. Tidal volume is the amount of air inspired or expired during normal respiration. It is about 500 ml. Second one, inspiratory reserve volume is the additional volume of air that person can inspire by forcible inspiration. It is about 2500 ml to 3000 ml. Expiratory reserve volume is the additional volume of air that person can expire by the forcible expiration. It is about 1000 ml to 1100 ml. The residual volume is the amount of air which is left in the lungs after fully exhaling. It is about 1100 to 1200 ml. So the correct option is option A is tidal. Which of the following two features are present in meiosis but absent in mitosis? Pairing of homologous chromosomes and recombination or crossing over between genes occurs only in meiosis and is absent in mitosis. So the answer for this question is option B. Pairing of homologous chromosomes and recombination between them. Question number 40. All of the following factors are favorable for the formation of oxyhemoglobin except in the lung alveoli where there is a high partial pressure of oxygen, low partial pressure of carbon dioxide, lesser hydrogen ion concentration and lower temperature are all favorable factors to promote binding of oxygen with hemoglobin to form oxyhemoglobin at the time of external respiration. So the answer for this question is option C, low pH. Question number 41. Which of arrangements of xylem is found in the stem of plants? The stem shows end-arc arrangement of xylem. In end-arc condition, the protoxylem is present toward the center and metaxylem is present towards periphery. Roots show exarch arrangement in which protoxylem lies towards periphery and the metaxylem lies towards center. So the answer for this question is option A, end-arc. Question number 42. Which of the following statements pertaining to plant structure is correct? Tracheids are elongated or tube-like cells with thick and lignified walls and tapering ends. These are dead and without protoplasm. Parenchyma forms the major component within organs. The cells of the parenchyma are generally isodiametric. They may be spherical, oval, round, polygonal or elongated in shape. The parenchyma performs various functions like photosynthesis, storage, secretion. Sclerenchyma cells provide mechanical support to organs. And xylem parenchyma cells are living and thin-walled and their cell walls are made up of cellulose. They store food material in the form of starch or fat and other substances like tannins. So the answer for this question is option C. Tracheids are elongated or tube-like cells with thick and lignified walls and no protoplasm. Question number 43. Select the incorrect match about evolution. Big Bang theory explains the origin of universe which occurred about 20 billion or 20,000 million years ago. The origin of Earth occurred about 4.5 billion or 4,500 million years ago. The first non-cellular form of life was originated about 3 billion or 3000 million years ago. So the answer for this question is option B. Origin of universe 20 million years ago. So the correct option is B. Question number 44. What is a species? Species is the smallest unit of taxonomic hierarchy which consists of group of similar organisms capable of interbreeding freely in nature to form fertile offsprings. It brings about a variation necessary for evolution. So the answer for this question is option D. A population of similar characteristics which forms evolutionary basis for evolution. Question number 45. In the diagram, the x-axis denotes the number of individuals with a certain phenotype. The dotted lines denote the phenotypes favored by natural selection. Which of the following inferences can be drawn from the given diagram? Natural selection can lead to stabilization in which more individuals acquire mean character value. Directional change, more individuals acquire value other than the mean character value. Or disruption means more individual acquire peripheral character value at both ends of the distribution curve. The characteristics to peaks clearly indicate a disruptive selection. So the answer for this question is option D. The natural selection will lead to disruption. Question number 46. The packaging of chromatin at the higher level requires an additional set of proteins that are collectively referred to as the nucleosomes. In chromatin are seen in beads on string structure when viewed under electron microscope. It is further packaged to form chromatin fibers that are further coiled and condensed at metaphase of cell division to form chromosome. This packaging at higher level requires an additional set of proteins collectively referred as NHC protein. So the answer for this question is option A. Non-histone chromosomal protein. Question number 47. Which of the following is family of monocots? The family Liliaceae is commonly called lily family. It is distributed worldwide. It is a monocot family. So the answer for this question is option C, Liliaceae. Question number 48. Read the following statements about evolution of man and choose option which correctly states true or false. Here there are 4 statements are given. Human-like being, the hominid was called Homo habilis with cranial capacities between 650 to 800 cc. Cranial capacity of modern man is about 1350 cc and is similar to Neanderthal man with cranial capacity is about 1400 cc. During Ice Age between 75,000 to 10,000 years ago, modern Homo sapiens arose. So the answer for this question is option C. Statement A is false, B is true, C is false, D is false. So from the given 4 statements, select the correct statement from the following. There are 4 statements are given. In euphorbia, the stem becomes fleshy green and cylindrical and carries out photosynthesis. Such stem is called pyloclade. Pistia and Eichhornia are aquatic plants in which stem is 1 and 2 internode long and bears tuft of roots and bunches of leaves at nodes. So the answer for this question is option D, all of these. So from the given 4 statements, all the 4 statements are correct. Question number 50. Select the correct option with respect to the characteristic feature of given animals. Arthropoda has jointed appendages, chitinous exoskeleton, and open circulatory system called hemocoel. Porifera as called archaeocytes which can give rise to any cell, whereas conocytes are collar cells lining the spongiocele. So the answer for this question is option C. B and D are incorrect. Which of these organisms show budding? In yeast, the division is unequal. Small buds are produced that remain attached initially to the parental cell, which eventually gets separated and mature into new yeast organism. So the answer for this question is All of these. Question number 52. Which of the following is not a fundamental character of chordate? There are few fundamental features of chordate. A rod-like solid structure called notochord on the dorsal side of embryo, presence of dorsal, hollow and single nerve cord, paired pharyngeal gill slits. So the answer for this question is option B, solid ventral and double nerve cord. Question number 53. In China rose, the flowers are China rose. It is commonly called as hibiscus. The flower is actinomorphic, thus it can be divided into two equal halves from any vertical plant passing through the center ovary. Here, it is service called as hypogynous, and petal shows twisted estivation. So the answer for this question is option A. China rose. The flowers are actinomorphic, hypogynous with twisted estivation. Question number 54. Match the following and choose the correct option. Alveolar layer is the outermost layer of endosperm in monocots, which causes during germination of seed. Fruits formed without fertilization called parthenocarpic fruits. Ovule after fertilization develop into seed. So the correct option for this question is option B. Alveolar layer. It provides nutrition. B. Parthenocarpic fruit. Parthenocarpic fruits are formed without fertilization. Ovule develops into seed. Endosperm that is formed due to double fertilization. So the correct option is B. Question number 55. Which one of the following statement is not correct about once a weak pill or females? A newly discovered oral contraceptive pill for females. It is developed by scientists of CDRI, Lucknow. It is a non-steroidal pill which it changes the nature of endometrium, so it prevents implantation. It is also called once a week pill, as there is no need to take this pill daily. So the answer for this question is option B. This newly discovered contraceptive pill to be taken orally having progesterone estrogen hormone combination. Question number 56. Choose the correct pair from the following regarding responses to abiotic factors. In higher plants, seeds and some other vegetative reproductive structures serve as mean to tide over periods of stress besides helping in dispersal the germinate to form new plants. Under favorable moisture and temperature conditions, they do so by reducing their metabolic activity and going into state of dormancy. In animals, the organisms unable to migrate might avoid stress by escaping in time. The familiar case of bears going into hibernation during winter is an example of escape in time. Some snails and fish go into estivation to avoid summer related problems, heat and desiccation. Under unfavorable conditions, many zooplankton species in lakes and ponds are known to enter diapause or stage of suspended development. So the answer for this question is option D, diapause zooplankton. Question number 57. Which of the following assisted reproductive techniques is used to the test tube baby program? In test tube baby program, ova from the wife or donor and sperm from the husband or donor male collected and are induced to form zygote following in vitro fertilization, and embryo transfer technique is called IVF, that is ET. The resultant zygote or early embryo in up to 8 celled stage is transferred to fallopian tube, generally called as ZIFT, of mother to complete its further development. So the answer for this question is option A, zygote intrafallopian transfer. Question number 58. AGGTATCGCAT is a sequence from the coding strand of a gene. What will be the corresponding sequence of transcribed mRNA? Coding strand is the strand of structural gene that is not transcribed, and the sequence of mRNA is same as coding strand. except uracil is present in the place of thiamine? So the answer for this question is option A. Question number 59. Which of the following statement is not correct about Isardale? Isardale is a new breed of sheep developed in Punjab by crossing Bikaneri ewes and Merino rams. It is an example of crossbreeding which comes under outbreeding. In this method, superior males of one breed but superior females of another breed. So the answer for this question is option D. It is developed by crossing Bikaneri rams and Merino ewes. Question number 60. What is the criterion for DNA fragments movement on agarose gel during gel electrophoresis? Gel electrophoresis was developed by Tishalis, and it is based on the principle that charged molecules move to electrode of opposite charges when placed in electric field, and the movement depends on the charge and the size of the molecule. Due to sieve-like structure of gel, smaller DNA fragments travel faster towards the electrode than the larger fragments. So the answer for this question is option A. The smaller the fragment size, the farther it moves. So the correct option is A. Question number 61. Which of the following cells produce factors that help in maturation of spermatids to spermatozoa? Sertoli cells of the seminiferous tubule of testes secrete hinkibin, a proteinaceous hormone. When sperm count is too high, this hormone causes negative feedback to suppresses the overactivity of follicle stimulating hormone to suppress spermatogenesis. Also, follicle stimulating hormone acts on Sertoli cells and stimulates the secretion of some factors which help in the process of spermiogenesis. So the answer for this question is option B. Sertoli cells. Question number 62. Some of the steps involved in the production of humulin are given below. Choose the correct sequence. Humulin was first produced by an American company, Eli Lilly. The human insulin synthesizing gene was isolated and introduced into plasmid. The recombinant plasmid was then introduced into E. coli, which was then cultured in a bioreactor. Finally, the product was isolated and purified. So the answer for this question is option C. The correct sequential order is 4132. Question number 63. Read the following statements carefully. From that, how many statements are incorrectly given? Female external genitalia include the mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, clitoris, and hymen. At puberty, each ovary contains 60,000 to 80,000 primary follicles. The estrogen hormone concentration remains high in the follicular phase prior to ovulation. The second meiotic division of secondary oocyte completes inside the fallopian tube only after the entry of sperm. The estrogen hormone concentration remains high prior to ovulation in the follicular phase of the menstrual cycle. So the answer for this question is option A. From the given 4 statements, there are all the 4 statements are incorrectly given. So the correct option is A. Question number 64. Match the column 1 with column 2. Alpha 1 antitrypsin is a genetically engineered protein obtained from transgenic animals and is used for the treatment of emphysema. In rosy cow, the gene encoding human protein alpha lactalbumin was added. Thus, the milk of cow become nutritionally more balanced for human babies. ELISA is a diagnostic technique based on antigen-antibody reaction and it is used early detection of pathogens. ROP is a region of P22 that codes for protein involved in plasmid replication. So the answer for this question is option C. Is A. Which of the following is used to induce patrician? At the end of pregnancy and completion of a full term to induce labor of patrician, the doctor may inject oxytocin to woman. The synthetic oxytocin is called Pitocin. which cause vigorous contraction of myometrium of uterus for expulsion of baby outside the mother body through vagina. So the answer for this question is option D, both A and B, oxytocin and pitocin. Question number 66. Stir tank bioreactors have been designed for. A stir tank reactor is usually cylindrical or with a curved base to facilitate the mixing of reactor contents. The stirrers facilitates even mixing and oxygen availability throughout the bioreactor. So the answer for this question is option B, availability of oxygen throughout the process. Question number 67. Which of the following is a plasmid? PBR22 is the first plasmid vector developed by Bolivar and Rodriguez to transfer gene of interest to decide host cell. BAMH1, SA2 and ECOR2 are restriction endonucleases which are used to cut specific DNA segment. So the answer for this question is option A, PBR322. Question number 68. In which of the following is the number of T4 considerably decreases over the period of time? Among all infectious diseases, HIV infection of AIDS is most dangerous and fatal disease. There is no treatment or cure for this disease and prevention is the best option. HIV enters into T4 lymphocytes, replicates and produces progeny viruses. The progeny viruses released in the blood attack other helper T lymphocytes. This is repeated, leading to the progressive decrease in the number of helper T lymphocytes in the body of infected person. So the answer for this question is option A, AIDS. Question number 69. Select the incorrect statement. Selection of recombinants due to inactivation of antibiotics is a cumbersome procedure. Therefore, alternative selectable markers have been developed which differentiate recombinants from non-recombinants on the basis of their ability to produce color. A recombinant DNA is inserted within the coding sequence of enzyme beta-galactosidase. This results in the insertional inactivation and the colonies do not produce any color. So the answer for this question is option C. Insertional inactivation of beta-galactosidase leads to the formation of blue color colonies. Question number 70. Read the following matching carefully. Anti-tetanus serum is an example of artificial passive immunity which contains performed antibodies. First line of defense includes skin, which comes in physical barrier of innate immunity. Second, immune responses are also called anamnestic responses, which are very quick and highly intensified due to the presence of memory cells. So the answer for this question is option B. There are 4 of them is matching correctly. Find out the correct statements. In some shallow South American lakes, visiting flamingos and resident fishes complete the food zooplanktons present in the lakes. Resources need not be limiting for competition to occur. In interference competition, the feeding efficiency of one species might be reduced due to the interfering and inhibitory presence of the other species. So the answer for this question is option D. All are true. Question number 72. In the given formula stands for. The given formula stands for environmental resistance. Environmental resistance in the sum of the environmental factors such as droughts, mineral deficiencies and competition that tend to restrict the biotic potential of an organism or kind of organism and impose a limit of numerical increase. So the answer for this question is option A, environmental resistance. Question number 73. Which of the following statement is not true for cocaine? Cocaine belongs to some stimulant drug. It has a potent stimulating on central nervous system which produces a sense of euphoria and increasing energy. it interferes with the transport of dopamine neurotransmitter. So the answer for this question is option C. It has potent suppressing action on central nervous system. Question number 74. Find out the correct statement. A given species can occupy more than one trophic level in the same ecosystem at the same time, but a given species cannot occupy more than one trophic level in same food chain. In most ecosystem, producers are maximum in number and biomass than herbivores. Pyramid of energy is always upright. So the answer for this question is option A. Trophic level represents a functional level, not a species as such. So the correct statement is option A. Question number 75. In a terrestrial ecosystem such as forest, maximum energy is found in T1 or first trophic level in terrestrial ecosystem is occupied by producers, which trap solar energy and transfer it to successive trophic level. Maximum energy is always present in T1. So the answer for this question is option A, T1. Question number 76. Find the incorrect statement. During the long period since the origin and diversification of life on Earth, there were 5 episodes of mass extinction of species. The current species extinction rates are estimated to be 100 to 1000 times faster than those in prehistoric times. So the answer for this question is option D. Recent extinction is completely natural. Question number 77. Hotspots are characterized by. The concept of hotspots was given by Norman Maier. They were identified for maximum protection for certain regions with very high levels of species richness and high degree of endemism. Initially, 25 biodiversity hotspots were identified, but subsequently 9 more were added. These hotspots are also the regions of accelerated habitat loss as many species and so the answer for this question is all of these hotspots are characterized by very high species richness, high degree of endemism, regions of accelerated habitat loss. Question number 78. Which one of the following pairs of organisms are exotic species introduced in India? A species of organism that is not native to locality and is moved there from the natural range by humans or other agents is called exotic species. Example in India, water hyacinth, lantana camera, etc. So the answer for this question is option B. Lantana camera, water hyacinth. Question number 79. Select the incorrect match. Haryana Kisan Welfare Club was established by Ramesh Chandra Dargar. Information and help on the practice of integrated organic farming. Integrated organic farming is a physical zero waste procedure where waste product from one process are cycled in as nutrients for other processes. So the answer for this question is option D. Established by Ahmad Khan is given. It is incorrect one. Question number 80. Diagrammatic view of female reproductive system is given below. Select the incorrect option on the basis of the labels given. In diagrammatic representation is A represent endometrium, B myometrium, C perimetrium, D uterine fundus, that is given wrongly. E represents isthmus, H represent that also correct. G infundibulum, that also correct. H fimbriae, that also correct. I cervical canal, that also correctly given. J vagina. So except D remaining everything is labeled correctly. So the answer for this question is option C. Question number 81. Which of the following statement is correct for color blindness? Normal woman, the son of the carrier woman has 50% chances of being colorblind. So the answer for this question is option C. The son of the carrier woman has 50% chances of being colorblind. So that is the correct for color blindness. Question number 82. Find the correct statement regarding DNA. DNA forms a double helical structure made up of two polynucleotide chain. Phosphate group is linked to 5 carbon of the nucleoside by phosphodiester bond. So the answer for this question is option B. It is an acidic substance present in nucleus was first identified by F. Mischer in 1869. So that is the correct statement regarding DNA. Double standard DNA molecule undergoes 2 rounds of replication in non-radioactive medium. What will be the radioactive status of the 4 resulting in molecules? DNA replication is a semi-conservative type. During each replication cycle, one of the parental strand is retained and new daughter strand is obtained. Thus, only half of the parental DNA molecule is carried to next generation. So the answer for this question is option D. Of the number contain no radioactivity. Question number 84. The recent record of dash years old viable seeds of the date palm Ponyx dactylifera discovered during the archaeological excavation at King Herald Palace near the Dead Sea. In a few species of seeds lost viability within few months. Seeds of large number of species remain alive for several years. Some seeds remain alive for hundreds of years. A recent record 200 years old viable seed of the date palm Ponyx dactylifera discovered during the archaeological excavation at King's Herald Palace near Dead Sea. So the answer for this question is option B, 2000 years ago. Question number 85. Which of the following is an incorrect matching of microbe and its industrial product? First one is Aspergillus niger. It belongs to fungi. The product of Aspergillus niger is citric acid. It is used industrially. Second one is Acetobacter aceti. It belongs to bacteria. The product is acetic acid. It also used industrially. Third one is Clostridium botulicum. It also belongs to bacterium. The product is butyric acid. It also industrially used. Fourth one is Monoscus purpureus. It belongs to yeast fungus. The product obtained from this microorganism is statins. It is used as blood cholesterol reducing agent. Clostridium botulicum, lactic acid. This one is an incorrect match. Question number 86. Once biological oxygen diminishes significantly, the flocks are allowed to sediment and it is known as dash. Once BOD of sewage water is reduced significantly, the effluent is then processed into the settling tank where the bacterial flocks are allowed to sediment. This sediment is called as activated sludge. The answer for this question is option C, activated sludge. Question number 87. An explant is any part of the plant taken out and grown out in a test tube under sterile condition in a special nutrients media is called an explant. The answer for this question is option C, part of the plant used in tissue culture. Question number 88. 1:1:1:1 ratio of progenies can be obtained if the parents employed for crossing are 1:1:1:1 is a dihybrid test cross ratio. It is obtained when crossing is done between hybrid and recessive genotype when two gene loci are considered simultaneously. So the answer for this question is option D. Biome distribution is shown with respect to annual temperature and precipitation. Select the correct option. Distribution is shown with respect to annual temperature and precipitation. The correct option is representation. D represent is a temperate forest. B represent grassland. F represent Arctic and alpine tundra. So the correct option is option B. Question number 90. Last question. Which one of the following is wrong statement? There is good ozone which is found in the upper part of the atmosphere called the stratosphere and it acts as the shield absorbing harmful UV rays from sun. Ozone in the lower part of the atmosphere is generally called as a troposphere is called bad ozone as it harms the life forms. So the answer for this question is option B. Ozone in upper part of the atmosphere harmful to animals. That is given wrongly. So the correct option is B. Thank you very much for listening our video.
நன்றி.